What problem? But today's session and point of the definition of law. Viewers, now I would like to discuss regarding the definition of laws. So those who are the students of law, those who are the judges, barristers, or the law officers, you of all need this type of class in terms of law. At first we have to understand what is law. What is actually law? What is the definition of it? So our main turn of the thematic issue in terms of law. Viewers, this live class should be shared by you of all. If you share this live class, then it will be very much helpful for you and your leading life. So just you have to share this at first. I'm conducting the class in terms of the definition of law. What is the actually ingredients of laws? What are the sources of law? So in tackling this concept, I would like to uphold my voice. Dear Bandhu, carry on. Wow, Babla, dear friend of mine, today's sessions, my friend, the best friend of mine. Just you have to share this live class. So law is for all. First of all, I would like to uphold the definition of laws. So the prelude or the preface, there is a lot of literature on the subject of law, and in spite of that, different definitions have been given on point of law. Law is a social science and grows, develops with the growth and development of society. So what a fantastic discussion today's lesson is. New development in the society. You know, there is the age of geopolitics. You know, the South China crisis, or the Middle East crisis, or the Kashmir crisis. So this is the situational case in terms of law. You must have knowledge in terms of new era or the present situation. Viewers. So our main tone in terms of law. At first, I would like to uphold my voice in terms of law, the definition of law. The definition and scope of law must continue to change. This is the fact. The definition and scope of law must continue to change. The result is that a definition of law given at a particular time cannot remain valid for all times to come. Let's have a look. Good evening, bye. Yes, dear. Good evening. Shoail Amin. Through the sessions, Shoail Amin, a genius student in our society. Shoail Amin, just you have to share this video for the whole nation as a citizen of Bangladesh. So our main turn in terms of the definition of law. Let's have a look. A definition of law which is considered satisfactory today may be found narrow tomorrow. Various schools of law have defined law from different angles. Viewers. Good evening, bhai. Yes. Shoail Amin wants to join you on video. Yes. Shoail Amin. Some define it in terms of its effect on society. So you have knowledge in terms of legal pluralism, where you find that law, the legal concept of legal pluralism is in your CPU, in your memory, is that the society is in the hand of what can say right track, or the left side is state. Sometimes we have actually focused in terms of society. Guys, the main theme is that the definition of law. Just at first we have to focus in terms of definition and the sources of law. Today's session on point of this. Some define it in terms of its effect on society. There are others who define law in terms of the purpose of law. Actually, many jurists are found in the world. They want to define law in their what can say view. Someone criticizes that. Someone on behalf of them, for contrary of the definition given by someone. So let's have a look. We have to at first see the definition given by Justinian. Actually, what is law? What is law according to him? According to Justinian, law is the king of all moral and immoral affairs. Let's have a look. What a fantastic sentence is written by Justinian. Law is the king of all mortal and immoral affairs, which ought to be the chief, the ruler, and the leader of the noble and the base, and thus the standard of what is just and unjust. It is the core point. Actually, law is the principles which prescribes that what is just and unjust. This is the core point to understand, what can say, to make it clear to you what is law. According to him, which is ought to be the chief, the standard of what is just and unjust, according to Justinian. And Ulpian is one of the jurists in the world. Ulpian, who told that law is the art of science. What is law? According to Ulpian, it is quite clear to you. Law is the art of science of what is equitable and good. Dears, what is equitable and good? And you of all know regarding this concept when you studied in department in terms of equity, justice and good conscience. Viewers, equity, justice and good conscience. So this definition has come from the side of what can say equity and trust law, according to Ulpian. Cicero, do you have any idea regarding Cicero? You know, the father of law. The father of law is called Cicero. Cicero is called the father of law. Do you have any idea who is the pioneer of international law? You of all know regarding that. The Hugo Grotius is the father of international law. So our main tone or the main theme is that we have to focus at first the definition of law, and then we have to find out the sources of law. Actually, what from laws are derived. This is the class which will focus in terms of that, viewers. Just you have to share the class, those who are the, what can say, law seekers, those who have deep eagerness to understand law. What is law and what are the sources of law? What is legal pluralism? Please, guys. So, after Cicero, we see that the landmark decision or the landmark definition in terms of Hobbes, Professor Hobbes. Actually, what is said by him? This is the core point. Just fantastics, Chiron place. Who told it? Just fantastic, Chiron place. Sohail Amin, you are the diamond, and that's why you actually find out who is the diamond. And that's why sometimes I have focused in terms of that diamond cuts diamond. So the fantastic phrase has emerged from the handwriting skill of Sohail Amin. So what is law according to Hobbes? Law is the speech of him who by right commands somewhat to be done or omitted. So now the question may arise from the side of me, Mr. Shafiq Nazrul, to you. What is the difference between omitted and repealed? Please write your comment. Write your comment. What is the difference between omitted and repealed? So according to Hobbes, it is quite clear to us, law is the speech of him who by right commands somewhat to be done or omitted. So a main theme is that Blackstone, you have all know the name of Blackstone, who told it, who defines laws in such a way. Law in its most general and comprehensive sense signifies a rule of action and is applied indiscriminately to all kinds of actions, whether intimate, rational or irrational. It's a very quite different definition given by Blackstone. It's very difficult in nature to make it clear to you. Now the definition from the side of Professor Ace L. Hart. According to Professor Ace L. Hart, law is the system of primary and secondary rules. What is said by him? Law is the system of primary and secondary rules. The union and combination may justify is regarded as the essence of law. The primary rules are duty imposing and secondary rules are powers conferring. So it is quite clear to you. Actually, how does he defines law is the core point 2. Number 1, the primary and the secondary rules. So this is the underlining mark according to Ace L. Hart. Viewers, the first concept is that the primary rules are duty. So what do you mean by duty? So this is imposed upon human being to obey it. And secondary rules, what is secondary rule according to him? The secondary rule is that the power conferring. Actually, who holds the power and exercises such type of power? This is totally from the side of Professor Ace L. Hart in terms of the definition of law. Viewers, so this is the main point through which you can easily grasp the definition given by several jurists in the world. And I have also definition in terms of law. Actually, I will mention after giving the definition given by the several or some of the jurists in the world. The another definition which is given by the main definition, very important and the far-reaching definition. This is a totally actually on which the base or the standard is what can say like a living person, like a living thing. This is given by Professor Austin. So what is law according to Professor Austin? Of course, this definition is criticized by many other jurists in the world. But the definition is very much strong in existing society. So now let's have a look. What is actually given in terms of law? According to Austin, the law of the state, law is the aggregate. Let's have a look, dears. Sunny Alamin is watching. My dear friend, Sunny Alamin is watching. So what is law according to Professor Austin? Law is the aggregate of rules. Please keep it, it should be kept in your mind. Law is the aggregate of rules set by man as politically superior or sovereign to man as politically subject. It means Law is the command of sovereign, dear audience. Law is the command of sovereign. So the man in this definition actually adjusted, adjusted to the view like this, the analytical school of law. So analytical school prescribed that existing situation or the existing norms through which a law is actually defined through the by the side of Professor Austin. What we find that the three elements or three ingredients of law. The first one is that the command, and second was a sanction. So what do you mean by sanction? The synonym of sanction is punishment. Viewers, sanctions means the punishment. So punishment, what is punishment? Punishment is a sanction, such as fine, penalty, a loss of property, assist against a person who has violated the law. So what a fantastic definition given by Austin. But unfortunately, Austin is criticized by many other jurists in the world. And the earlier video of mine, the criticism on point of the definition given by Austin is found in the, video on YouTube. Just I have actually uploaded this video. You have to see the definition given by Austin. Criticism on the definition of Austin is found in my video. If you search the criticism on point of the definition of Austin in YouTube. Viewers. So the main tone is that, what is law? Several times this question may arise in our living life. What is actually law? What are the sources of law? Actually, who practices that? Or who practice that? This is the core point of mine today's session. Let's have a look. So Austin, as a far-reaching effect, the definition of Austin is actually playing a vital role in our society. But sometimes he is criticized. Viewers. So Carlson, according to Professor Carlson, who actually gives the pure theory of law, it is quite clear to you when you are the student of jurisprudence. If you have no knowledge in terms of jurisprudence, you have nothing in your society. Just you are the advocate by the name only. You are nothing. So you have to focus at first on point of jurisprudence and then constitutional doctrines or the precedent, that the leading case or the judgment, and then you are the great lawyer or the advocate or the barristers or the judges in our society, and not in our society, in the whole world. If you have concept in terms of law, studying the jurisprudence and the constitutional doctrines, or the whole constitution, comparatively actually study of law will help you, will assist you to be a great lawyer in the world. So this is the session on point of law. What is the definition of law? What are the sources of law? And how actually state practices law? And the advocate actually practices law, barrister, judges. We of all must have knowledge in terms of jurisprudence. Viewers. So the definition given by another jurist, Holland, Professor Holland, who told it that the more briefly, law is defined in more briefly. So what is the definition given by Professor Holland, who defines law in such a way? More briefly, the definition given by Professor Holland is more briefly, in a nutshell, This is that law is a general rule. Law is a general rule. Let's have a look. Who called me? Eva? Okay. Law is the general rule of eternal human action. So what is my eternal human action? This is known to you. This is known to you. So this is a fantastic definition of law. Law is the general rule of eternal human action imposed by a sovereign political authority. So what is actually sovereign political authority? Please comment in the comment box. What do you mean by sovereign political authority? All other rules of the guidance of human actions are laws merely by analogy and proposition, which are not rules for human actions, are laws by metaphor only. So what is the actually differences between the two propositions, like metaphoric expression and the antithesis, which is given by what can say Rabindranath, who prescribes me actually what is the distinction between the two, metaphor and antithesis, or the paradox or antithesis. Excuse me. Who is actually calling technical sabbi? Call from advocate Roxanne Mipu. Wow. Learned, actually a learned is calling me. But I am in live class. Two people in Bangladesh view their profile. Wow, excellent. So the definition and the last definition, actually many jurists in the world define laws in their, what can say, own opinion, in their own views. I have also a definition of law. I will mention this after giving the definition given by several jurists in the world. So now is the time of Professor Salmond. So Professor Salmond plays a vital role in jurisprudence. In every sector, or in every actually definition of law, or what is the ownership, or the possession, or rights and duties, in every sector, there's a far-reaching achievement or great achievement of Professor Salmond. He's the boss. No, he's the leader in terms of law. So actually, what is said by him in terms of definition of the law? He defines laws in such a way. Law is the body of principles. Wow, what is that? Law is the body of principles recognized and applied by the state in the administration of justice. What a fantastic definition of law given by Professor Salmond. This is the definition of law. The excellent definition, I think. What is that? Again, please. According to Professor Salmond, law is the body of principles. Law is the body of principles recognized and applied by the state in the administration of justice. Viewers, what a fantastic definition given by Professor Salmond. And several jurists in the world actually defines law. So the definition given by Shafiq Nazrul. Now is the time of Shafiq Nazrul. Yes, what can say? I am trying at my level best to define it. This is the, that is the adventurous definition of law. Law is the body of principles. Yes, this definition of mine. This is the definition on point of law given by me. So what is this definition? Yes, this is totally known to you. Actually, who actually is able to define law is a living philosopher or a great fool. Yes, I am actually, I want to be a fool, not a living philosopher before you. So, what is law according to Mr. Shafiq Nazrul? Law is the body of principles which is orbited by human being voluntarily or involuntarily. This is the definition of mind. So this is the definition. Just you are the critic. So you have the option to criticize the definition of mind. You are the critic. You are the greatest critics in the world. So definition of mind is that, in terms of law, is that law is the body of principles which is orbited by the human being voluntarily or involuntarily. This is called law, according to Mr. Shafiq Nazrul. Wow, this is a fantastic discussion on point of law. Now we would like to discuss regarding the sources of law. What are the sources of law? First of all, there are many sources of law. First of all, we have to discuss regarding the first source is that legislation. Viewers, legislation. And you of all know regarding the legislation. And you have the concept in terms of that. There are three organs of government. One is executive, the executive, and second one is legislature, and third one is judiciary. Wow. So what is the source of law? Already I have focused in terms of that legislation. Yes, legislation is the source of law. And you know very well that Parliament makes law. So the legislation, the term legislation is the source of law, number one. And the second one is that president. Do you have any idea in terms of judicial president? Of course, why not? You know, there's a famous landmark decision in the world in terms of judicial review. The judicial review. When you are the students of the first year or the second year or third year or in terms of the department of law, whatever may be, or the private or public university, does not mean that you are not able to grasp something what I delivered today. So the judicial president is the source of law. So what is the glaring example? When I'm the student of law, at the time, this is very hassle. This is very difficult for me to understand judicial president. So now I'm clear to you, and I want to make you clear that also. So what is judicial president? You of all know regarding that there is the Marbury versus Madison 1803 on point of judicial review. And not only that, this is the US landmark decision in our country. Let's have a look. You know very well in terms of 8th Amendment case. It is well known to you, there is the Anwar Hossain Chowdhury versus Bangladesh. 41 DLR Appellate Division 165. So this is the president. Viewers, this is the president and the judicial president in terms of 8th Amendment case or the landmark decision by the Appellate Division. And not only that, you have concept in terms of Indian case, in terms of preamble of the Constitution, like this Keshavananda Bharati versus state of Kerala. This is the president. And you know that president is the source of law. So the third one is that. What is the source of law? Third one is the customs. Now the question may arise from the side of you. What is custom? And what is the strength of it? And it is quite clear to you. This is the landmark decision in this regard, or in this respect. This is Collector of Madura versus Muthuramlingo, 1868. This is the leading case on point of custom. Here it is quite clear to you. The court held that clear proof of uses will outweigh the written text of law. So what a fantastic, smell of law. Viewers, what a fantastic discussion today's session is. So the third one is, and now I would like to focus in terms of legislation. At first we have to actually classify that in two types. Legislation is of two types. First one is, number one is supreme legislation, And number 2 is subordinate legislation. And you have concept in terms of subordinate legislations. There are 7 types of subordinate legislation. Number 1 is colonial legislation. So, what a fantastic discussion. We don't hear the colonial legislation. You must have knowledge that the colony, we are the colony of British Empire, the Pakistan. Whether it is West Pakistan or East Pakistan. In 1947, 2 states are divided. You have all know regarding that. So the colonial legislation, at first is of 2 types. Supreme legislation and the subordinate legislation. And the subordinate legislation is of 7 types. So what are they? This is the question from the side of you. So I would like to make it clear to you that the first one is colonial legislation. So now the question of mine, Bangladesh, this is the area of Bangladesh. Actually, we are the which country ruled us? You have all know that the British, and another is Pakistan. Today's session is Pakistan, West Pakistan. So this is the concept in terms of colonial legislation. And second one is judicial legislation. So what is my judicial legislation? It is quite clear to you. And the third one is autonomous legislation. And the fourth, delegated legislation. Now the question of mine to you, please write a comment or the comment in the box that the delegated legislation, just you have to focus the article of the constitution, the supreme law of the land. In which article it is enlisted according to delegated legislation. And the fifth one is executive legislation. And 6, municipal legislation. And the quasi legislation. Now is the question is judicial president. What types of it? The first one is authoritative or persuasive president, judicial president. And second one is absolute, the conditional legislation, actually conditional judicial president. And third one is declaratory or original judicial president. Actually, how we actually find from the side of judicial president? 3 types. One is authoritative and persuasive. So the binding force according to article 111 viewers. And second one is absolute and conditional judicial president. If you want to the core thematic issue, just you must admit in lot of terms, we are the supreme in position. We are the leader of law. So just you have to find out the law doctrine, the excellent taste of law. And third one is declaratory or original judicial president. Now the question from the side of you actually what type of custom? Now the first one is legal custom and second one is conventional custom. Wow. I'm quickly. Ahmed Rafiq is watching. Sani Ahmed Alamin is watching. Wow. So the discussion from the side of the sources of law. Now the legal custom is of 2 types. General custom and second one is local custom. So there is there must have you must have knowledge in terms of custom and you must have knowledge in terms of judicial president or the legislation. Now the question may arise from the side of several schools of jurisprudence. The first one is analytical school. The father of analytical school is Austin. And the Bentham, Jeremy Bentham. Actually, what do you mean by analytical school? What is the exact thinking in terms of analytical school? You have all know regarding that. Law as it is. The existing, what can say? Law as it is. So the main theme from the side of the definition given by Austin is that command, sovereign, and sanction. So the what can say concept may arise from you that what is sanction? Of course, I would like to make it clear to you. Actually, sanction means punishment, and punishment is a sanction, such as fine, penalty, or loss of liberty, assist against a person who has violated the law. So what is the thinking level in terms of analytical school? These are the three core points. Those are sovereign, command, and sanction viewers. And the realist school. The realist school. Now the question may arise from the side of you. Actually, what is the central focusing power in terms of realist school or realist theory? Of course, this is nice to see who actually told that. Gramin Bangla is watching and MD Habib Hassan is watching. Just we have to focus in terms of realist school of jurisprudence. Who is the proponent of it? Actually, the proponent of a realist theory is, what can say, Jeremy Frank, Justice Holmes. The concept which has derived from the side of justice, you know, the judges or the advocates in our society, in the whole world or inter-world. This concept is treated as realist theory or the realist school of jurisprudence. So main thematic issue of realist theory is that judicial decisions are the source of law. Wow, what a fantastic discussion, viewers. Just the concept may arise from, now the best friend of mine, Kulsum is watching. Wow, the lucky, what can I say, I am the lucky persons today's sessions. My best friend is in the world is Kulsum, the Nightingale of Arabia. So what is thinking level in terms of my best friend is watching. So the speed is already increased or increasing. Of course, this is termed as increasing in nature to uphold my voice in terms of realist theory of jurisprudence. So you must have knowledge in terms of what can say like this realist school. This is the systematic way to which you can, you must have knowledge. Yes, whether you are the judges, you are the justice, you are the advocates in our society, or the law teachers, or the barristers, you all need to understand the realist theory or the realist schools of law. The thinking which has derived from the side of the concept of judges or the judicial decisions. For example, Marbury versus Madison. Viewers, Marbury versus Madison. This is the US landmark decision. Why it's quite clear to us. What is judicial review? Do you have any idea regarding that? If not, just admit it in law doctor. We are the supreme in terms of law. So the excellent taste of law has emerged from the side of Shafiq Nazrul. So I am the advocate who controls the law academy sitting at Farmgate in Dhaka. Okay, less than the proud is what can say, but proud sign of decay. Now the question may arise to you that what is law? What are the sources of law? Blah, 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 blah. So this is the systematic class or the today's session on point of the definition of law or the sources of law. And the last, historical school. Several schools of jurisprudence. So what is the thematic issue or the central focus of historical school? You must have knowledge in terms of that. Wow, who is the proponent of historical school of jurisprudence? Already you have actually comprehended that. The main proponent of historical school is Savigny. And another jurist is Henry Maine. Is it very difficult to you to make it, to understand or comprehend that? The historical school, what is the main theme of historical school of actually jurisprudence? What is the main theme? Saying the headline or the, what can say headline, of course, the historical school of law or the historical school of jurisprudence. This is the, what can say headline through which we can easily grasp what is historical school of law. Of course, that is the law of itself. I mean, law by itself. So what do you mean by itself? History, you know, that is the gradual development of law. Gradually, laws are developed in the society, in the state, or in the whole world. Viewers. So this is the session on point of law again. Several jurists in the world define laws in their own view. And I have also a definition on point of law. So what is the definition of mine? Law is the body of principles which is obeyed by human being voluntarily or involuntarily. This is the definition of mine in terms of law. So criticize the definition which is given by Shafiq Nasrul. Today's Namo. Bye-bye. So in terms of this, in taking this approach, if you have any query, just comment in the comment box and just, what can say, pick out what is delivered by Mr. Shafiq Nasrul. Just I am the person, I am the advocate to make you comprehend that what is law. Who called me? Aminul Islam is calling me. Who is the Aminul? So today's Namo dear. Bye bye.